Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Hope everybody's doing well. This is Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So, how this works is we go through the comments. You guys bring up topics. We'll talk about the topics, and then once we get partway through, I always have a topic of discussion pre-planned, and then we continue with the comments. So there we go. All right, let's see where we are. Please keep all comments family friendly. Hey, Erin's here. First comment and like. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Erin. Vase Place is here. She's my moderator. You'll see her in blue. And she has a live chat of her own on Saturday mornings. So check her channel out. Vase Place was second to like and comment. Aw, you guys are doing your competition again, huh? I have to turn my sound down off of my phone. I'm sorry. All right, you guys are talking. Erin says, oh, you date your appointment? Are you getting, is it MPIP? Is that what we're talking about? I don't remember. Let me know what you're talking about. All right, my sound is off on my phone. Sorry about that, guys. Ed says, thanks to Brooke Muse, I made it here. LOL. Hi, everyone. Did she remind you? Welcome, Ed. And welcome, Brooke. I'm assuming you're here, too. Base Place says, cool. They have only been running you around all month. Uh-oh. All right. Hopefully we're talking about it good. Base Place says, I got my certificate for Quail University. First one to get it. Congratulations. You've been busy. It's a big course to go through. Ed saying hi. Joyce here. Welcome. She says, hello, everyone. Working on quail cages, cleaning and building. Awesome. Ed Got Bait says, awesome, Verna. Hey, Kelly's here. Feathered Connections Homestead. Hey. Welcome. Buster's saying hi to all. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Hey, Diana Tuttle Top Farm. Welcome. Diana, I think you had a thing for one of the groups, and I don't think you answered questions or something. Maybe double check that. I left it blank so that you could answer the questions. I don't know if one of the other admins did anything with it or not. I'll accept you. I know. All right. People are saying hi. Welcome. Oh, you had to refresh your page, Verna? Oh, I'm here now. Hey, Brooks here. Cali Quail Keepers. Happy spring. Happy spring. It's finally spring. You're right. I don't know. Is it officially? They change the date every year. It used to be March 21st all the time. Then it was 20th and 22nd. I didn't look at the calendar. But happy spring anyway. The plants sure think it's spring. And I hope all the puppies are doing good. Base Place put the Quail University link right there. So check that out. Steve S.O. Swanson says, I'll be here as soon as I get my 3 likes in. All right, you're probably here by now. Base Place said I said last night I would not go to bed until I got it done. Wow. Yeah, I reviewed that. I was one of the test people, and I'll be talking on my Shires live next Sunday about my experiences. So I want to do that there, not here. But it is a good thing, and I think people should sign up for it. Yeah. Awesome. JJ Willow. Hey, everyone. Hey, JJ. Everybody saying hi. Andy Rabbit. Hello. Welcome. All right. Everybody's saying hi. Let's just say that. Base Place says spring is usually 20th of March. Yeah. The calendar says, I don't know what calendar says this year, but I know it jumps around. So, yeah. Aaron says, hey, Andy, Steve. Hey, Joy has eggs going into lockdown Wednesday. Good luck. Base Place saying good luck. Yeah. Andy Rouse saying hi to everyone. Base Place says, Katrina, I was right. The downloads are worth the cost. Yes. Yes, they are on Quail University. Yep. Oh, Callie saying, "Bay, hope you're okay. My mind wanders." Happens to the best of us, but especially those that stay up with puppies, like Brooke has been. All right. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Bring up some discussion topics. It's too early for my discussion topic. Yeah, 2 hours of sleep, Bay. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Andy Rabbit has lockdown tomorrow night or Wednesday morning. You got to choose that or do it over the midnight hour. Ed says, Katrina, how's it going in your area? You building an ark yet? Nope. I thought it was going to rain today, but it is not. And then there's we're under a wind warning or wind advisory, whatever it's called, for tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So hopefully the power doesn't go out again. But if it does, I am prepared. Yeah. So flooding, we're not near the flooding. There's a lot of flooding happening on the coast. There's a lot of flooding happening in the mountains or just out of the mountains from the snow melt because the mountains got lots and lots of snow, and then they got inches and inches of rain on top of the snow. And snow plus rain equals melting, equals big water. So yeah. Yeah, so we're okay. Aaron says, we got bees over the weekend. Wow. I would love to have bees. Bees love my yard. I know that. I would love to have bees. That would be awesome. Base Place is saying, good luck and happy hatching. Yes, good luck. Rad. And Callie Quailkeeper says to Aaron, I have not heard that word in a while, Brooke. Andy Rabbit, topic, don't go on vacation. The wild animals will know mama is gone. Uh-oh. I know you had some mamas not be mamas for rabbits. What else happened there? Hopefully not too bad. You know, the wildlife does pay attention to what you do, though. I will say that, at least here, the birds know, you know, they know you when you go outside. There's one jay that's always like, hi, hi, hi. Always like does that. And I no longer have hummingbird feeders up because there's enough flowers between my yard and my two neighbors' yard on either side of me. There's enough flowers to keep them in nectar, so I don't feel I need to feed them anymore. If you do have hummingbird feeders, make sure you don't have the red dye. That's actually very, very bad for them. All they need is sugar water. It's just sugar water. They don't need the red. The container that it's in, if you have red or yellow on that container, that'll attract them just fine. So I used to have the feeder up, and when the feeder was empty, they would come tell me. I would have them come down because I would talk to them when I was in the garden. They would come down and they'd be like right in my face. Okay, I'll fill it, and then they fly away. It's pretty funny. But you have those relationships with the animals. I'm sure the animals know. But it sounds like you might be talking about something specific, so I'd like to hear that story. JJ says, no more of my eggs hatched, but only lost 2 due to me and or incubator. And boy, these suckers eat a ton. Yes, they do. You said a lot. I said a ton. I don't know which is bigger. Yeah, they eat a lot, and you will see they grow tremendously. JJ, was this your first hatch? Yeah, they grow tremendously fast, and they poop a lot. That's the lesson you need to learn of quail, is that they poop. Aaron says, thanks, Brooke. Spicy Gator Honey. Is that the name of your company? Interesting. Do you have gators on your property? I know you're in Louisiana. Or do you do you like feed the gator some peppers? I'm joking. Cool place says. Ed says, Katrina, don't be like Brooke and stop flying objects with your hand. I will not. I stopped a car trunk with my head before. That was when I was in Illinois, working in Illinois, and I was getting something out of someone's trunk as a bunch of soil samples. And so basically you lean in to pick it up, right? And the wind came and just boom, and right on the top of my head. That hurt. But no, I'm not planning on catching flying objects. And I hope, Brooke, that you're doing better. JJ says, ooh, cool on bees. Andy Rabbit says, my hubby told me that the incubator was stinky while I was gone. Did he not do anything about it? Or did you come home to stinkiness? I don't know. I'm going to bring the table closer because you guys are making me lean over. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Yeah, Baseplate says, oh, Andy, that is sad. Yeah. Brooke, you're going back in time. Radical tubular dude. Did I say it right? You remember Word? Word was a thing too. JJ says to Andy Rabbit, you should have asked hubby why he was sniffing the incubator. Oh, I lost a few 5 to 8 quail. Is this to the predators or to the incubator stuff? I'm going to guess predators because we were talking about that early. Cali Quail Keepers says, sorry, I'm from Cali. At least you're not saying hella. People misuse that word too. It's supposed to be like a conjunction. It's hell of a. That's where it came from, and people use it wrong. I'm not one to use it at all, which is I just think it's silly. But I will use dude. Come on. Let's see. Baseplate says, dang, that is bad, Andy. Tell hubby he was supposed to watch out for them. Yep. Aaron says, Brooke, with those words, we must be close to the same age. You remember Word too? JJ says, oh, Andy Rabbit, sorry about the loss. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says he walked in the bathroom and the whole room smelled, so he sniffed it. Yep. Cali Quail Keepers is right. The animals speak if you listen. That is so true. So true. Just my experience I've had experience just in my yard with the hummingbirds doing that. And then we used to get, I haven't had them in a while. Knock the table here. Haven't had these in a while, but the big grasshoppers. And I got really good at just clapping them, and it would stun them, sometimes kill them, but mostly stun them because they're freaking hard to kill. And I used to have like a wooden ladder in the yard that was a trellis until it fell down. But what I would do is I would say, Phoebe, that's the name of a bird here. It's a black Phoebe. And it had a nest in the yard at one point. Now it nests on my neighbor's garage. But it would come around the corner from the garage. He would hear me say that. And I put the grasshopper up on top and it would go get it. Like, you can train the wildlife. I don't know if you should, but they listen, and you listen to them because they're saying stuff too. So like with all this wind, there was a robin in the yard for, I think, a day before the wind happened. And I'm sure it just didn't want to fly in the wind. Robins are migratory where I am. Where I grew up in Oregon, they were there basically all the time. They still migrate some, but they're basically all there all the time. But here, they're pretty much here only in winter. And it was just hanging out. And it's like, I don't want to go anywhere. Yeah. Let's see. JJ says, first quail hatch. Awesome. Yes, you're going to learn that they grow super quickly. You're going to want a lid on your incubator. Here's a key tip if you don't have like a tote lid or something. I would, or even if you do, I would go down to a local window store and ask them, or call them up and ask them if they have any old windows that you can just take, because when windows get replaced, they have to take the windows and the window screens back with them. Oftentimes the windows break when they do that, but the window screens are fine. And the window screens, if you use that as a lid, they can bounce off of it. They won't hit you. They hit their head too hard, and they bounce back down when they jump. So you're going to do that, and you're also going to learn that they poop a lot, which I know I've told you before. Base Place wants to know, how many eggs did you set, JJ, and how many hatched? Callie says, I'm getting old, 40 next month. Me too. I'm an April Fool's baby. Tickets for QuailCon go on sale on my birthday. Base Place says, Brooke, you are young as my daughter, right between the two of them. Yep. Eds says, that's not old, Brooke. I'm 57 this year. You know, how old you feel, right? Andy Rabbit says, I did a fast candle today, and man, I had trouble finding a clear egg. I wanted to my 2-year-old. Wanted to show my 2-year-old granddaughter the difference. You can just candle an egg that was just laid, and show her the light bulb effect there. That would be, I mean, it wouldn't be like a half developed one, but hey, if you're getting mostly developed, that's awesome. JJ says, I set 13, ended up with 5. 2 were late in egg death. The rest were either cracked from shipment or not fertile. Right. Okay. Well, it's your first hatch, and the more you learn, the more you do it, the more you're going to learn. And the more you pay attention to what you're doing, the more you're going to learn. I think you said you had a still air incubator too, right? I don't remember. Was that you? If you get a forced air incubator, one with a fan, then that will definitely help you out. Yeah. Aaron says, I figured we were close in age. I'm almost 40. Me and Esso are the same age. All right. Ed says, Valley Girl, totally tubular. Right. Yeah, the totally needs to be there, right? S.O. Swanson says, Brooke is just a child. Andy Rabbit says, oh my gosh, I forgot the hella fun days. I hope people aren't still saying that. I don't know. I'm not offended by it at all. I just think it's hilarious anytime someone uses it, because they usually use it incorrectly. I don't know. It's funny. If people didn't make up words, we wouldn't have a language. So I make up words all the time. I think yesteryear needs to be a word if it's not, just like yesterday. I make up words all the time too. Base Place says 35% isn't bad for first time, JJ. Yeah, you'll learn how to do that differently, or get better at it. I mean, Feather Connections says, I'm turning 37 this year after QuailCon. So in almost 40 club too. Wow. Aaron, I never knew. This is Brooke. You guys are funny. Yes, Base Place has a big birthday in May. Yep, I'm going to be celebrating. Kelly says, Faye, this is Big 100. LOL, joking. No. JJ says, those two was very sad to lose, but I will do better next time. Yeah, that's something else that will learn, is that whenever you are responsible for animals, and this goes for any animal, but especially animals that you're dealing with at a young age or at an old age, is that sometimes they die. And sometimes they need help to do that. If they are in pain and are not going to get better, then there's decisions that can be made. And I would encourage you, JJ, and anybody else here who's new to having these types of animals, to go through that thought process now while you don't have to, so that you are more ready when you do have to, or when you do have to make a decision whether or not to intervene. So at least go through the thought process, and that may change. It may change over time. It may change if you're in the actual situation, but at least go through the thought process. So yeah, there you go. It is sad though. It's sad every time. Now I'm just going to do my topic because there we go. So we had a power outage. If you guys saw the video today, and it was a little longer, sorry, but if you saw the video from today, the weekend review, we had a power outage last week, and it was just so very windy, and the power outage lasted 8.5 hours. Now, last time there was a power outage, this is so rare. Most power outages that we've had here, like the longest we've had it was for like half an hour. We're on the same grid as the police station, so like you'd think that they'd get to us quicker. But the last one that happened was 8 hours 15 minutes, and those birds were already out of the incubator in the brooder, and already starting to grow. And so those I had put in a cooler with a container of boiling water or boiled water, some water they can drink, kind of close the lid and said, okay, you're going to keep warm. This time it was in the incubator on day 17 for quail. So they started hatching last Monday. You guys heard them on the live last Monday, some of them. And then it was Tuesday that it was like 3:18. I don't know. I remember that for some reason. The power went out, and I was like, okay, it's going to be out for a little bit. And I just put the blanket over it and, did all those, introductory things. When power goes out, you put a blanket over your incubator. You want to keep that heat that's in there. And I thought, okay, it'll come back on. It's the last time was a fluke. This time would be better. Okay, don't think that. So then I checked it later. I'm like, okay, well, it's dropping temperature. Oh boy, I really should do something about this. Now, last time after the last power outage, I got hand warmers. And I just got these at Big Five, which is a sporting goods store, kind of. I mean, we're in California. We don't really have, in the Bay Area, we don't have many actual sporting goods stores. But so these come in, this is a 10-pack of these. And they last 10 hours. That's what they advertise. And I can tell you this lasted more than I needed it. I broke open 4, so this holds 2 warmers. I broke open 4 warmers, so 2 of these packs, and threw them in the incubator, closed the lid, and put the towel back over it. And actually, I put the towel halfway over it to kind of check on things, but it kept it at between 100 and 100 and 1, or not 101. It was, I think it did bump up like every once in a while to 101, but it kept it in the 100 degrees air range, which 99.5 is perfect for incubating. 100 is fine. 101 is a little high, but everything that hatched stayed alive. So it was 67 out of 100. So I didn't actually open the shells or anything, but I don't know how many of those may have hatched, because it did get down to 86 in the incubator by the time I got those in, because I was not checking it regularly like I should have. But everybody who had hatched survived, and I actually have not lost any, knock on wood, from this hatch. So they are a week old today and tomorrow, and they're all alive, which is pretty dang cool. So maybe that means I'm keeping the survivors, keeping the strong ones. Yeah. Anyway, there's my tip. There's my topic is, I know that people say, get get a generator or get this or get that. And yeah, those are great ideas. They're also more expensive. And these are relatively cheap. I don't expect to have this happen all the time. I mean, I know like Aaron said that you said you had like 15 weeks last year of generator time or something like that. So, yeah. Anyway, it's just an interesting alternative to another thing you could do is boil water and put a water bottle in the incubator, and that should generate enough heat for I don't know how long that would last, but these do last a long time. So I definitely recommend getting these for emergencies, and they do get really hot. So like I said, I put 4 in there. I don't know, maybe 3 would have been fine. And I have a Hovabator, one of those styrofoam incubators. So yeah. Anyway, they work. I guess that's what I want to tell you. They work, and they're good to have in emergencies. All right, let's go back up. Let's see. Oh, Andy Rabbit says this was a test run, a no-touch hatch. The reason I did it as I was gone. Some were just laid down on the floor of the incubator. Okay. So you didn't turn them. You just left them. Yeah. So Baseplay says, nope, Kelly, the big 6'5" in May. Andy Rabbit says, hubby said, nope, not touching that stinky thing. Yeah, my boyfriend Manuel is very similar in that he wants me to deal with all the dead rats that we've gotten 2 dead rats in the last 2 weeks in the garage. But I'm grateful that I left the traps out there to not catch anything for months and months, and then all of a sudden catch a rat. They look like teenagers, so hopefully they were traveling together and that was all that got in. But yeah, he doesn't want to deal with that. He doesn't want to deal with the killing of the animals, so I do that too. Anyway, yay, girl power. Callie Quail Keeper says, I love that, Katrina. Great energy brings great friends. Nature knows. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gidro's Urban Homestead says, hey, I'm here. Welcome, welcome. Ed says, Verna, they are all big after 40. They are all big after 40. Oh, big birthdays? Got it. Base Place is saying hi to Christina. It's Gidros. Kelly says, Gidros, are you both on at the same house or getting all the likes in? They're probably sitting right next to each other, right? Steve says, yep, if you don't have a lid on the brooder by 10 days, you'll have quail all over the floor. Even before 10 days. I mean, depending on how tall your brooder is, but some of them just pop, pop, like popcorn. They're so funny. But yeah, definitely by 10 days. But some of them before that. So I've had some of them jump pretty high within a week. Yeah. Baseplay says, Ed, nope, after 65, then I have to wait until 70. All right, you have your milestones. JJ says, oh yeah, great idea about window screens. Yep, I have a giant window screen that actually, I have windows that I got off of Craigslist. So, somebody was getting rid of them. And they're huge. You guys have seen them in my videos. They're on the back of the screen and porch right by the pergola. They're just leaning up there. They've been leaning up there for a couple years. But I have a RAV4. That's what I drive. And I had to squish myself up all the way in the driver's seat and drive like this with my knees all funky because to fit them in the back of that. But I did make them fit. And I actually used one of the screens for my brooder because that brooder is 5 feet by 3 feet, which 3 feet deep. 3 feet deep is too deep. If you're building a brooder, it's too deep. Go 2.5. Yeah, 3 feet's too deep. But we've worked around it with our little spaghetti strainer or ravioli strainer to kind of guide birds around the first couple days. After the first couple days, they don't need any guidance. They know where to go. And I have to say, this batch of Egyptian fees from my shire, they have been the quietest batch, I think, so far. There might have been one a couple batches ago that was quieter, or the same quietness, but they're so quiet. Unless, of course, you turn the light out too quickly. Which, JJ, that's another thing that you should know. If your babies are new and they peep, 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 and they're doing all that at night, it's because they don't know where they are or what happened. If you provide them with a sunset, so if you have a light switch that, you can, a dimmer switch, then dim it for them and give them a sunset. If not, kind of try and leave the hallway door open with the light on for a little bit or whatever, and they will let you sleep better. Chicks of the trade. Yeah. Base Place put in the link again for Quail University. Thank you. It's a great program. I'll be talking about my experience with that on the My Shire Live next Sunday. That is at, somebody help me out, 7 o'clock Eastern time? It's 4 o'clock California time, Pacific time. I think it's 7 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah. Oh, Ed Gutbay says, God, no, I feel like 100. Celebrate every day, Ed. Verna says her daughters are 35 and 45. Exactly in between. Yep. Callie says, believe me, I feel 25 still. It's funny because like high school doesn't feel that far away. Like, I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but it was. It was a long time ago. It was, half a lifetime ago. Yudro says, Kelly, we are on each sofa. We are on each a sofa. On separate sofas, I'm wondering. That's how I read it. Okay. JJ says, I thought it was still air, but it has a fan that doesn't work good enough. So if you take it apart and clean it, that might be what it needs if it was used. If it was not used, I would try and return it if this is your first time, or call the company. Gidros says, hey, Verna. Feather Connections laughing at Gidros and Aaron. Callie says, Vay, you're as old as my parents. You're our adopted mama. Verna's great. Yeah, so Vay Place saying the same thing to JJ. Clean the fan out before the next incubation. Sorry, guys. I'm thirsty, and I just did a video for you guys, like literally right before this. So my voice is tired, I guess. I don't know. JJ says, I was thinking about ways I could clean the fan. I think I have to unscrew everything. Yeah, so you might have to unscrew everything. The other thing to get is a can of air like this. Make sure you go, give it a little squeeze to get the moisture out before you put on the fan. But use this, and that will spray out most things. And then if there's still stuff on there, I would use a Q-tip, and you can use like a Q-tip either plain or with alcohol, and that will that should pick up the rest of it. Yeah. Can of compressed air. That's what I just showed Steve. Yeah, from the computer section. So yeah, you'll find that at Staples, at Walmart, at any place where the computer section is or the electronics section is. That's where you'll find that in the store. Compressed air. Yeah, Base Place is saying the fan isn't supposed to blow hard. It is a soft blower, like an inside of your computer. Correct. It's just enough to get the air moving. Oh, you have some already. That's good. Try it. Try it and let us know how it goes. Vase Place says another thing they can do, Katrina, is to take Quail 101 at Quail University. Yes, you can. It is a great program, and I'm going to try not to talk a lot about it right now because I'm going to talk about it on Zach's Live on Sunday. But it is great. I learned a couple things, which is pretty cool. And it's very complete, which is so great. It's very complete and it has resources. So yes, go on the website and take a look at that. Kelly says, I think growing up gutting fish helped me get through the first culling. That would. Yeah, I didn't go hunting or fishing. Well, we went fishing sometimes, but I don't like to eat fish, so I never I never was a part of that part of it. Yeah. Baseplay says, Brooke, I went from fish to quail and now to cuy. And congratulations on doing that, babe. Ed says, I started with deer. That's a big thing to start with, Ed. Yeah, Callie says, Vay rabbit was harder. So cute. Yeah, I think the key with the rabbit is, well, with any of them, is to be quick and swift. Know that, the longer you take to think about the things that are in your head, the longer that rabbit has time to realize that something's up. That's how I think of it. So it is very hard, especially the first few for me. Base Place says cuy I think is harder than rabbit as it is the first mammal. Yeah, so it's the first one you did, so it'll be harder. Yeah, that's probably true. Kelly says, Ed, that's awesome. That's a huge process. Yes, it is. JJ says, in the old days, hatching using hot water bottles was common. Yep. Yeah, I just don't know what they used as a box. If it was probably not styrofoam, it was probably like wood with paper. I mean, it's probably like a insulated wood box, right? Yeah. Ed says, I watched someone do it, then I did it myself. If I can see it, I can do it. Yeah. I mean, that's how I did both the quail and the rabbit. I mean, and you pretty much get, once it is deceased, it's easier to go, okay, this is what I do, right? It's that for me, it's that part. Yeah, JJ says that was smart to use hand warmers. Yeah, hand warmers was something I've heard it from several different people in the quail groups, and I run warm, so I don't ever have hand warmers. I'm always warm-blooded, and so I saw that 10-pack at this is what we're talking about. Saw this at Big Five, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it, and it worked. Yeah. Steve says U101. Oh, 101 was good because it was a still air at the time. Oh, that's true. That's true. So Steve is saying that when the power went off, the fan was no longer blowing. So 101 is okay temperature for still air, which is something you'll learn about at Quail University if you take it. And that's something I didn't know because I don't deal with still air. But apparently I do. So yeah, thank you, Steve. Although it did go down to 86 before that. So no, all of that might not hold water. Vase Play says, Ed, I skinned the first one. We'll try keeping the skin the next one and head out a process for Brooke. Awesome. And Ed's saying cool. What's the shelf life of unused hand warmers? It does say to use before the expiration date or something. I don't know. It says check expiration date as expired warmers are less effective. So kind of like medicine, right? Oh, this one expires 12 of 26. So we are in 3 of 23. So I have 3 years to use these. Yeah. I think it's fine. Or 3.5 years. More than 3.5 years to use these. So hopefully I don't need to use them, but that's a good thing to know. Yeah. It'd be I don't do this somebody should make a record keeping of all the things that expire that you don't think to look at, like these, right? A spreadsheet. So someone should do a spreadsheet of let's see, we have smoke detectors, hand warmers, batteries, what you have and when you need to get a different one. Someone should make that. Send it to me if you make it. Great question, Steve. Brooke says the warmers should be in your quail emergency kit. Yep, exactly. And they weren't, and now they are. And Verna says she bought a bunch of them last year for emergencies. JJ says, yeah, I already have a generator for med fridge and camping. We are old. Well, generator is a good thing. I keep looking at stuff and I keep going like, okay, can I justify the cost? Can I do this? And like 8 hours, you just don't open your refrigerator or your freezer and it'll be fine for 8 hours, especially with as many things as I have in there. Now, here's a key thing, 2 key things, okay? One, the fuller your refrigerator and freezer are, the longer things will stay frozen. And the better your freezer is at energy saving. So if you have an empty refrigerator, it has to work hard to keep that cold. If you have a full refrigerator, those items are already, once those items are cold, they keep everything else cold as well. So it takes less energy to run. Same thing for a freezer. So like if you have a refrigerator or freezer or something that you know is going to be empty or partially empty, something you can do is just fill up a milk jug with water, not all the way to the top, give it a gap so it can expand, and put that in like the bottom of your freezer or in your refrigerator, and that will give you one extra extra security that things will stay frozen in there, and 2, it will cost you less in energy costs. So that's the one tip. The second tip is, I don't have it in my freezer and I should, but I don't. Especially if you go on vacation, this is helpful. If you freeze water in something and then put like a penny on top, if you come back from vacation and the penny is in the ice, things thawed and you should think about what you should throw away. So basically what that means is that block of ice has thawed enough to make whatever's on top. People use a penny, I don't know why, to sink down into that liquid, because it's liquid then that means other things in your refrigerator or in your freezer have thawed. So I have not implemented that, but that's a good thing to do. Anybody do that or something similar? Basically says, because they should last as long as they are not punctured. Yeah, so these, you're supposed to take this open and then shake them. So I would say don't shake these. Like, try not to shake them, because you'll probably start them heating if you shake them. So that's one tip I just made up. Brooke says, thanks, Faye. Count it as your souvenir when I'm gone. Oh. Vase Place is going to send Brooke a bunch. You talking about heads? Yeah. Andy Rabbit says the incubator, the humidity was left alone. It ranged somewhere between 18 and 28. Wow. That is very low. Yeah. Brooke says, very contemporary art. Ed can plate them. Ed's got fancy stuff happening every day, right? Our local crafter, not local. You're local to this group. Our resident crafter. Basically says, good idea, Brooke, as long as it isn't gold plated. I don't like gold. I'm not a fan of gold either. I like for metal stuff, silver is better, I think. I don't care if it's real or not. It's the color thing. Ed says he'll do copper. Kelly says, LOL, not in my world. JJ says, yes, the baby quail get mad if I turn off the lights too soon. Yeah, give them a sunset and you'll sleep better. We figured that out. I don't remember how or when, but we figured that out, and it's a great idea to give them a sunset. The other thing that's funny is that they wake up and they're hungry. Like, doesn't matter if they just went to bed and then you turn the light on. They're like, oh, I'm hungry. That's why they eat so much. Okay, Bernard, editor talking. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern time is my Shires on Sundays. Is live. Ed says, I don't like gold colored stuff. Love real gold nuggets or flakes. Steve says, baby quail, when the light goes off, is just like little kids when you send them to bed. Chatter, 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 chatter. Yeah, they chatter, but they also, sometimes I think they get lost because that's when they go in the corner. Like, so I have heat plates. The first couple nights, you don't have to guide them in, but sometimes you have to guide them in. If you have a natural sunset, most of them find their way because I'm not putting them in at night. I'm putting them in the morning usually. Most of them find their way in the heat plate. But if you've had the light on and then try and turn it off, sometimes they just crowd in the corner. Or sometimes, like, you guys know that elephant stampede sound? If you raise quail, you know what I mean. That all of a sudden the birds just like decide to run everywhere. Sometimes if that happens at night, they get lost the first couple of nights and they don't know where they are, and then they start peeping. So, yeah. Hey, Dawn's here. Welcome. I made it. Finally. Can't stay long. I get off 9 p.m. every night and can't sit up late on the computer. Welcome. I'm glad you joined us. Everybody saying hi. Brooke says, can't wait to hear you give your input and feedback on Quail University. I will be doing that Sunday on Zach's channel, My Shire Farm, at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And Brooke, I was the first to graduate from Quail University. This is Vape Place. Mary Gold, hi. Hi, Mary Gold. Welcome. Hi, all. First time on here. Welcome. I hope you've been enjoying things. The chat is way ahead, I'm sure, of where I am. We do this every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we talk about all sorts of interesting things. We're fairly quail heavy on the topics tonight. But you can talk anything homestead related is what we go for. Any questions you might have, go ahead and put them in the chat. Any topics of discussion, put them in the chat. We'll talk about that. You may have missed my topic. You'll have to rewatch, but also get some of these hand warmers for your quail if you have quail or anything that you're incubating. All right. Callie says, Vay, you're awesome. Figures. LOL. Yep. Everybody's saying hi to Mary Gold. Yeah, Vay's Place enjoyed it and says the downloads are worth the price. Yep, absolutely. And there is a link for Quail University for those that want to sign up. Thank you, Vay's Place. It only costs $49 for the 80 lessons. It's very affordable for all of that. Yep. So JJ's talking about the old time incubators, wood box or drawer with hay in it and hot water bottles or set near the wood stove. Awesome. That is awesome. I have a couple quail that are broody right now in the jumbo aviary, and they, the only successful hatching I've had birds go broody many times. But the only times they've successfully hatched is when they had a partner, or in one case, 4. 4 of them rotated duties. And so there's 2 main ones right now. And then there's some ladies that come out and help sometimes. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to let them do their thing. Now, usually I would pull the eggs that are new away from the nest, but they are way underneath where the rabbits are. So luckily not in the pea corner. And so I have just decided that whatever eggs are there are going to be there, and it might be a bad decision, but crawling under there every day I don't really want to do and bother them. So we'll just see what happens. But this is the second time that more than one went broody at a time on the same nest. So cross your fingers. Base Place says, yeah, the actual killing can be difficult, mostly when the animal still fights. Oh, wait a second, broken. Yeah, and some of that, I know, Verna, we talked about your recent experience, and some of it is that things haven't happened all the way, and some of it is muscle movements or nerve endings. So yeah. Vase Place says 3 years and 9 months, Katrina. 3 years and 9 months for what? You probably were answering something a long time ago that I asked a long time ago. I don't remember what I asked. Don says, Base Place, I had a quail screaming at me. Oh, yeah, when you dispatched it and it was in the trash still. Yeah. Yeah, that's not good. I try and get them relaxed first, and I don't let them see what happened to the others. That's how I deal with that. We're talking about processing animals for meat. Steve says, I think it's harder to process when you helped create its life and had it when newborn or hatched. Yeah, that is true. However, you also know how it was raised, and you know if you had a relationship with it or if it just was raised well. You know how it was raised, and hopefully it only has one bad moment. People say it has one bad day. Hopefully it just has one bad moment. So in slaughterhouses and stuff like that, it's not as friendly. So for me, if I choose to eat meat, I think I should be a part of I should at least know the part of the process. And I mean, I still buy other meat, like a sneak peek into your video tomorrow, like this beef. We don't have cows. We have 7,000 square feet in the city, but there was a big sale on beef one time, and that's what I did. So that is, I feel that I should have responsibility for that, I guess is that's my feeling. Let's see. Yeah, Vase Place, that experience is with a Kui is not. I'm hoping that your next experience goes better. Kui, for those that don't know, is oh my gosh. Guinea pig. Why is that so hard? Yeah, so Vase Place is saying the same thing. Containers of water in the freezer to keep it cold and efficient. Exactly. Dawn says, I kept wanting to look. Oh, yeah, don't look at it. Yeah. My advice is don't look at it, Dawn. Hey, Andy's gonna get off for the evening. She has 2 grandkids tonight. Good night, Andy. And to the grandkids as well. Everybody saying good night. I'm gonna skip you guys' conversation. You're talking to each other. JJ says, yes, I do the water bottles in freezer and ice cube with marble or coin. Yeah, okay. I haven't, but I think that's more important, like if you're on vacation and go somewhere, because I pretty much know that it's okay, closed for so far it's been 8 hours. I didn't open it, yeah. All right. Yeah. Hey, Malik is here. Hello. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. And I know you were on here last time. Do you raise your own food, or are you working towards that goal? I support you. Thank you. Dawn says that was the first. Yeah, that was her first cooey. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna do all 8 tomorrow, Verna? Wow. JJ says, Dawn, glad you shared your your episodes. I will brace myself. Yeah, JJ, my recommendation to you when you get to that point, you have at least 8 weeks to get there, right? My recommendation to you is internalize it, think about it, think it through, so that you can cry and whatever that's fine to do, but in the moment you need to be thinking about what's best for that bird. And what's best for that bird is for things to be quick and swift. And I do cervical dislocation, which is that. And then we cut, then we cut the head off. And when you do that, it is a very fast thing. The other thing I would recommend to you, if you have not watched my, I have two videos that I would recommend of mine that I would recommend is, one is harvesting Coturnix quail. I think that's just what I named it. And then the other is, it's something about processing cone. So look up the processing cone video. And processing cone, I definitely recommend. You can do one, you could do a bunch like I do. But I definitely recommend that because, especially for your first time, because then you're not holding the animal when it's doing its final movements. You do the removal and then put it in there and then go on to the next one, or walk out of the room if you want to. And so I would make sure that you get yourself mentally to that place that you can be sad, you can be angry at yourself, you can go through all of those emotions. Also be proud of yourself that you're able to do it and that you're able to provide food for you and your family, and that you have gone through the process. So you're allowed to have all of those emotions, but in the moment, make sure that you know that the focus needs to be on that animal. This is just my recommendation, my thoughts, is that the focus needs to be on that animal and to have it in as least pain as possible. So which means do it quickly and swiftly. All right. Malik says, thanks. Berna says, Katrina, silver, bronze, or copper? Yep. Cali Quail Keepers. Katrina, how old were your pepper seeds? Was the soil old? Do you think it was too moist? The mold growth is making me think soil is no good and too much humidity. Airflow peppers are easy. Depth. So, Brooke's referring to a question that I asked on my video from today, my week in the review. Towards the end, I showed you guys the tomatoes are doing great. The peppers are not. The peppers, I thought I was underwatering because the top of that was much less moist, but then the humidity dome was super humid. So I thought I was underwatering, and I would try and water, and then when I saw the green growth, the mold, I don't know, it's mold probably. I did take off the humidity dome. I usually don't do that with I usually don't take them off until I see a bunch of them up, and that worked fine with the tomatoes. There might be something going on with what I did. Is I did the I don't remember when I did a video on it though. So whatever the video is, it's that week. But I did potting soil on the bottom, and I did a little bit of seed starter mix on the top. And I might just reseed some in a plugged plug tray and with just potting soil and see what happens. Yeah, they should be easy. They've been easy in the past, but this year and last year I've been using those things, and I don't bottom water until they're, until all of them are like that high. Like if all of them were that high, then I would bottom water because that's what those trays are made for. But like I said, the tomatoes are doing great. But I think I'm gonna try the plug trays and just reseed a whole bunch of them and see if that makes a difference. Because I'm wondering if if there's something wrong with maybe something got into the seed starting mix that I put on the top. I don't know. They should be easy for sure. Depth was recommended depth on the packet. Yeah. Dawn says, JJ, I've done about 40 quail and never had that happen. Yeah. And the other thing is sometimes even after they, like when you are once they're skinned and all that stuff, sometimes if you squeeze them wrong, they will make a sound. So that's something else to know. Yeah. JJ says, I would be very happy not to have that experience. Yep. Good practice. Don't look in the bucket after you do that, after you do the head. JJ says, I overwinter my peppers inside near a window and pinch off the flowers and peppers. Yeah, so I have a green stalk of peppers that some of them made it, some of them didn't. Green stalk, I have videos on my channel, but green stalk is a planter. I did a video how many plants you can fit in a hug. And that's the idea. And a lot of them are doing very well. I even have jalapenos this big already. And so that's the idea. I was planting peppers to replace some of the ones that were missing and to add some other different varieties that I had wanted. So yeah, that's the goal, because they are perennial if it doesn't frost or freeze, right? I've had them go quite late into the winter. Ed says, if you use a generator, use the blue colored marine. Ed, can you message me that? Blue colored marine Stabil 360, not the red colored one. Also, every time you are going to shut it down, shut off the fuel and let it run till it dies, so fuel is not left. That's a good thing in the carburetor. Yeah, that's a good idea, because then it doesn't go. Yeah, fuel can go bad if it sits too long. There's a lesson. Baseplay says, no, not muscle movements, totally that I felt after cut the head off. Okay. They're talking about the cuy. A lot of animals end up in the grocery store does not have a good life. The times they are alive and their deaths are very traumatic. Yeah, and that's why I try and keep things quick and swift, and they have a good life here. So yeah. Basically says that is what I try with all my animals I process. It makes me feel better to know they did not suffer. Yep. Dawn saying good night, everyone. Good night. Thanks for joining us for a little bit. Everybody saying good night. Brooke says, Katrina, get them on a different medium and try again now. LOL. Yeah, that's my plan. I don't know what's up with that. Because both of them are nightshades, the tomatoes and the peppers. So, and it's the same process for both of them. I don't know, but I'm thinking of just doing like a planting, mix and see how that works. Base Place says, if you have dogs like real or raw meat, quail heads are great treats. Yep. All their parts. JJ says, I am training my German Shepherd. I know what that is now. My German Shepherd service dog to not drool when she is with me as I take care of all of quail. That's funny. I tell her they aren't even big enough to be nuggets, but they crunch then. Come on. I have a friend who has mastiffs, and when you go to her house, you are given a drool rag because the dogs are going to come up to you. They are trained. So she has a water dish over a plant, which is a great idea because they make a mess. The plant is very well watered. And they have it, propped up over a plant. And then they also train them that after they drink to go to someone to get their mouth patted. That way they don't have drool, trailing throughout the house. So I think it's a great idea. So maybe teach your German Shepherd that. Vaseface says, JJ, Lucy is my service dog, and if a quail gets loose, she herds it to me. She knows the only one is allowed to eat are the ones I give her. Yep, Lucy's a smart girl. Smart. JJ says, it seems to be working because she is now getting me if she hears quail in distress. Oh, that's nice. That is so nice. And the more you talk to your dogs and they understand what you're saying, for sure. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, there are several commands that I don't have a dog. I dog sit other people's dogs. In fact, I just had a coworker ask me to dog sit for them. But the commands that I think people miss out on are things like go get a person. So like let's say something happened and I couldn't get up, I broke a leg or something happened, is go get so and so, go get JJ. And if that dog knows who JJ is, they'll go get JJ, right? And so go get a person. And then where is a person? And I actually accidentally trained my grandma's dog to the second one is where's grandma? Because I would ask her that every time I came home. I had to pass inspection. She had to smell me and say, where were you without me? And then we would, after I passed inspection, she'd let me in the house. It was a whiner rhymer. And I would ask her, I say, where's grandma? And I don't know at what point I realized that I had trained her, but I had trained her to actually go show me where grandma is. I lived with my grandma for a few years when I was in college and a couple of years after, before I bought my house. So, yeah, but Brooke is the dog. I'm sorry, Brooke. Brooke is Cali Quail Keepers. Brooke is also my grandma's dog, which both of them have passed. Not Brooke Cali Quail Keepers, my grandma and Brooke the dog. So if you hear me talking about Brooke as if it's a dog, it's a dog. If you hear me talk about Brooke as if she is a person, she's a person. Anyway, so I trained her to basically show me where grandma is. And so that's something to look to do. And then my neighbor has a command with her dog, which I had never seen, which is look. And that's before she goes off leash, before she does anything, she has to look her in the eyes, which dogs don't generally like doing a whole lot, but it has to look her in the eyes. And then like she'll let her off and then she'll yell, look, and she has to look back and you can just tell that she just doesn't want to do it. She's like, come on, let me go play. And she'll look back. Okay. And then that lets her know that she's listening. Her ears are open. Yeah. And then I would also love to teach a dog to wipe its feet when it came in. Has anybody done that? Yeah. JJ says, leave it. Yep. Leave it is important. Vaseplay says, I don't trust Lucy with the cooey as they are too much like moles. Lucy cannot contain herself when it comes to moles. Well, and she hasn't been restricted for the moles either, right? So she already knows that's okay. Why isn't this okay, right? So JJ says, yes, my hubby is mostly deaf, so I tell her to go get hubby. Yeah, that's awesome. JJ's laughing in Vay's place. Dogs are amazing. Yes, they are, JJ. They are. And their senses are amazing. Their ability to feel what you're feeling is amazing. Yeah. Vay's place says, if Lucy hears me on the phone and someone says they will be here shortly, as soon as I hang up, she stays at the door until the person gets here. Then she doesn't shut up until they are sitting. Yep. Lucy cannot leave moles alone. Yep. No, I don't like moles thrown at me. Who's saying that? Vay's place. Who does Lucy throw moles at you? Does she like? You told me she gives you moles as a gift, right? That's true. Sounds sweet, Vay. Yep. Yep. Yeah, dogs understand that. I mean, just like we were talking about earlier with the hummingbird, telling me when the hummingbird feeder was out, and the black Phoebe, the bird coming when I called out Phoebe. They know what's up, and like dogs especially know. I think their vocabulary is so much more than people give them credit for. And I think there's some people who talk to their dogs as if they were just talking to somebody. And there's some people who talk to their dogs in one word sentences or a couple word sentences. And I think that the dogs have a lot more ability than most people credit them with for figuring out what you're actually saying. I think they actually have a good vocabulary. They just can't talk it back in a way that we understand. Yeah. Base Place says the first time she caught a mole, she threw it at me. Now she just holds it in her mouth. Oh boy. Yeah, that's fun. Closest to that is we have a cat that's not ours that comes in the yard sometimes, and sometimes he leaves us birds. I think he doesn't leave us birds. I think he just leaves them there. But yeah. Yep. Verna says most dogs have the intelligence of 5 to 7 year olds. Yeah. Some of them are probably smarter than that too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So since we were talking about peppers earlier, I want to know what you guys are planting. If you're planting things now, or if you're waiting for certain dates. I'm out of my frost date now, so I should be able to plant anything that is not frost hardy. And yeah, I want to know what you guys are planting. As Steve says, the cat thinks you're the dog. It's giving you food. Lucy's the dog. Yeah. But it's a dog, JJ says. Steve, you better pay attention. Calico Keeper says, have you heard of biosensory training, working with pups now? I've heard that term, but I don't know what it means. Biosensory. Is that just like touch? Is that a touch thing? Yeah, share with us what that is, Brooke. So those that don't know, Brooke is Cali Quail Keepers. She also has a YouTube channel, and she, look it up. Okay, biosensory training, and she, sensory training. Sorry, that's what I just forgot, Brooke, that your thumb is hurt. Okay, it is. What is biosensory? Pertaining to the sensory abilities of a biological organism. Okay, for puppies, it says the biosensory routine is a series of 5 simple exercises. They are performed on each puppy once a day, starting at 3 days of age. Each exercise lasts a minimum of 3 seconds to a maximum of 5 seconds per exercise. The last exercise is completed on the 16th day. I still don't know what it is. I'm going to keep that up so that I can learn more about it later, because that sounds interesting. Vaseplay says, I am planting bok choy, yum, green onions, beets, peas, and sweet potatoes. Yeah, sounds good, except for the onions. Aaron says, we have tomatoes, beans, squash, cucumbers, peppers, eggplants, strawberries, blackberries, and watermelon planted now. Oh my goodness, you've been busy. I was waiting for green beans. I kind of want to plant them now, but I think it might still be too early. I was waiting for green beans because we did have a frost warning last week, one day, I think. So I'm going to wait maybe another week and see if I can plant some of those other things. I mean, maybe it wouldn't matter because it probably wouldn't be up yet. But yeah, so I'll be doing some zucchini and some peas, nasturtium. I want to do, I'll do more peas too, but there's peas on the side of the house. Green beans and nasturtium I'm going to put over the archway in the front of my house. I think that would be really pretty and fun. Pole beans, Vay's place, pole beans. Yeah, bush beans. Because I am in a small space, I like to grow things vertically. I know bush beans can give you a good harvest, but pole beans you're going to be able to fit more in a smaller area. And right now, like I really like harvesting them off of a trellis because you can see them. When I've grown bush beans in the past, I end up missing a bunch. And so they're more visible when they're growing up something. All right, let me go back. JJ says, yum, bok choy. Yep. Ed says, I just got $40 worth of seeds from Baker Creek. Awesome. To plant mostly tomatoes, as my wife, I think you guys just jumped. As my wife likes the freeze-dried tomatoes, and some different basil for dragons. Awesome. Yeah, there's, I need to plant basil. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do that. Thank you, Ed, for reminding me. There's a lot of different kinds of basil, and they're all very tasty. There's one that I don't have seeds for, and I won't plant it this year, but unless I see it at the nursery, because I still go to the nursery, right? And that is African blue basil, and it just smells amazing. There's so many different types, so many. Baseplay says, I would add potatoes and sweet potatoes if I had your amount of land, Aaron. Yep. I agree. Brooke says it helps with, they're talking about the biosensory training. It helps with immunity, temperament, agility, breathing, and lung function. That sounds very interesting. I'm going to read about it after this. I have the page still open. Awesome. You are learning so much with these babies, aren't you, Brooke? I'm so glad that you're their grandma. Or are you an auntie? Maybe you're an auntie. Ed says, Verna, you can grow the potatoes in a bag. You can. I grew them in 2020. I grew them in sinks. So I have some cement sinks that I got for free. The double sinks. Well, I think one's a double, one's a single. I don't remember. They're in the driveway. I changed that to growing space, and they have one drain hole at the bottom, and one of them got plugged. So I got to harvest rotten potatoes, which is one of the worst smells, and the other one was fine. So if you're going to go container wise, make sure that you have drainage that is working all the time. Just little words to the wise. Aaron says potatoes and okra are next week. Okay. Cool. Okra does not grow well here. I want to grow okra here, but it does not want to grow here. I I don't know if it might be the humidity, a lack of humidity. Because the ones that I grew, they were supposed to get big and all that, and they never did well. I got very few fruits. I did it like 3 years in a row, and I just decided it was not something that's viable for me because I just didn't get fruit or didn't get enough fruit to do anything with. So, but yeah, okra's good. Vase Play says she plants potatoes every year. JJ says, I put in the mustard and spinach and Irish potatoes, but that's all so far. That is good. It's a start. I mean, try and plant something every week if you can. Brooke says, I never get G year. I don't know what that is. Harvest of peas or beans. New spot this year. Too hot too. Yeah. Peas. I have had bumper crop years of peas where I wish I would have planted more because I still have not preserved any of them. If I preserve peas, it's going to be frozen. It's not going to be canned because, come on, frozen peas are better. But I have not done this because I end up eating them in the garden for dinner. Like that's dinner peas. But eventually one of these days one of these years I'm going to be able to grow enough for storing them in the freezer for later. And yeah, beans I've had really good years on, and then like last year it was getting to be a really good year, and then the water shut off. So yeah, I've had good years on both of those. I've had a few years where I planted the peas and basically I think they just rotted in the ground because of extra rain. So yeah, this year I planted them a few days after almost 4-inch rain day. So there is that. Hopefully those come up. Those are not coming up yet. The radishes are coming up. The garbanzo beans are coming up that I planted. So yeah, peas should be soon. Let's see. JJ's asking Ed which basil is best for quail. I don't know the answer to that. We'll see what he says. I think he said though he was going to raise them for his dragons, which is the it's a lizard. It's not like a roaring dragon. He has big lizards. Verna says, I will be doing a lot of things in the hydroponics. Awesome. The beans and peas and greens. Awesome. Ed says, oh, I just found out I have a butt ton of purple dead nettle in my yard. I saw something about that, but I did not take the time to read all of it. Hopefully it's something that you can use. I don't know about that variety of nettle. I know nettles in general are used medicinally and they're eaten like spinach. And don't yell at me if you do this and you get stung. But stinging nettle, if you brush against it quickly, it's supposed to not sting you. I don't know if that's true or not. I was told that by someone. There you go. I don't know. Someone tell me who has a bunch of stinging nettle if they've experimented with that. Andy's back. Got the girls laid down. Awesome. Welcome back. Ed says may harvest it and freeze dry it and may sell it. I don't use anything on my lawn as I don't care about my yard. Waste of money. Yeah, so I mean, I have edible landscaping. You can eat almost everything in my yard, and I think that is quite a better. It's a better idea than a lawn. That's what I say. Brooke says I catch on quick with the stuff that interests me. We are all doing great things. They let me sleep through the night now. Yay! Minimal yelping. Thanks. You're welcome. Thank you for being a good. I don't know. Are you a doula? I guess you're a doggy doula. Base Place is saying any basil will work for quail. Great, says Brooke. Verna's saying do one loofah plant, Katrina. I have seeds for that. I haven't planted it, but I have seeds for that. I might do that. Andy Rose says bought some seeds tonight, some sunflowers, scarlet runner beans, arugula, yard long beans, lavender, and royal burgundy beans. I have not heard of royal burgundy beans. Which yard long beans did you get? Did you get the green ones or the purple ones or what? I've done the purple ones. I've done both, and I like the purple ones better. I don't remember their actual name. They have actual names. Scarlet Runner are so lovely, Brooke says. Andy Rabbit says, every year for the last few years I've planted potatoes, and every year I harvest about half as much as I planned. So this year I might harvest 5 pounds of potatoes. Well, you can plant more, right? You can plant more. Base Place says dead nettle uses. So this is the one that is in Ed's yard. In terms of traditional medicinal uses, dried leaves have been used as a poultice to stem hemorrhaging, whilst fresh bruised leaves have been applied to external wounds and cuts. Interesting. Hemorrhaging. I guess it's a useful plant. The leaves are also made into a tea and drunk to promote perspiration and discharge from the kidneys in treating chills. Interesting. JJ says back, shed some light on the situation, seemed to work. I don't know what you're referencing. I'm sorry. Base Space says, Andy, start them now inside so they have longer to grow. Yeah, she can also, you can chit them inside and they'll start to grow because they have a lot of nutrition in the actual potato themselves. If you can cut, you can leave 2 eyes on each piece of potato, and that will be planted separately and you get different plants. So that's another thing you can think about is to cut them, let that heal over, and then just let them chit. And chit means they start growing from the eyes and go from there. Yeah. Ed says, I hope to plant sugar rush peach peppers. Those are wonderful. I've had them. Etudia peppers? I don't know what that is. Converse colossal asparagus, lemon balm, basil leaf, basil lettuce leaf. I've had that. Orange hat tomatoes, black strawberry tomatoes, indigo blue chocolate tomatoes. I think you went with interesting sounding things. Brooke has stinging nettles. It sounds like with a ... that you might have too many. Yeah. JJ says, me and Irish potatoes don't do well, but I still plant some. There are some things that if you just like them or you like to grow them, you can just plant them and they'll do well. Yeah. Let's see. Andy Rabbit says, I think they are pretty, but will be the first year. Hubby wants a climbing one in the spot. So the beans are called asparagus bean, yard long. Okay. I don't think I've had asparagus bean. Oh, JJ had people fighting out in the street. All right. Hopefully things are better. Steve says maybe it's a language barrier, JJ. When you talk to them, learn some Irish. Steve, you're missing on the joke. Or I'm missing in the understanding, which could be true too. Brooke says, yeah, Ed? Yeah, with all the planting. Okay, well, JJ liked your joke, at least. Ed says, pineapple tomatoes, those are good. Spoon tomatoes, Black Beauty tomatoes, those are good. And last lemon balm mandaria. I don't know that. Mandarina. Interesting. Is that like a lemon balm that's kind of like a mandarin taste to it? That'd be interesting. Hey, Andy Rabbit says, I got a Meyer lemon tree and a clementine orange tree while I was in Texas. Yay. I hope they do well for you. You're going to love those. My clementine orange tree I got for super cheap. I don't remember where I got it from. It may have been from Grocery Outlet. And it was like super cheap tree, like $6 or something. And it is my best producer as far as the citrus goes. Yeah. Let's see. Basebase says I rather have sweet taters, the greens, all my animals in my apartment can eat safely. Yep. Yeah. So sweet potatoes have greens that you can eat, you can cook and eat. Your animals can eat. And potatoes you should not eat because the potatoes you can eat. The greens of the potatoes you shouldn't eat because that is really bad for you and your animals. So don't do it. Yeah, Ed says, here's what's funny about all that stuff I'm planting. I won't eat any of it. Aw. All for your wife and dragons, huh? Yes, it is, Katrina. Okay. I missed it. It's okay. Basebase is saying, wonderful, Andy, about the trees. Okay, Steve is going to explain the joke to me. I think I understand it. Katrina, speak Irish to the Irish potatoes. It misses its punch when I have to explain it. I understood the joke. I understood it. I would just do a different joke. But it's okay. Other people liked it. JJ says, I'm growing artichoke again this year. My sister asked why waste the time. I live in the wrong growing zone. I told her I just like watching what the plant does and experiment in overwintering. Okay. Yeah, that would be interesting because you can cut it back and bring it inside, I'm sure. If you're not in the right zone for that and you like it, watch it growing, I wonder if cardoon would be a good substitute for you. Cardoon is very invasive, like all thistles, right? It's very invasive here in California, at least. But it is a relative to artichoke, and the leaf part, like you know how artichokes have those really thick, the middle part, the vein. That's what you eat on the cardoon, and I've never had it, but I wonder if that's something that might be a little better, so you can get food from it. Yeah. Andy says, I got my trees from HEB grocery store. I don't know what the grocery store is, but you know what? It's a tree, and as long as it's healthy, it'll grow. JJ says, love eating sweet potato greens, and they make good fermented tea. The potatoes don't grow well here. Yeah, sweet potatoes are good. They're good for the potato part, and they're good for the greens for sure. Oh, Andy Rabbit says, Verna talked me into getting both of the trees, LOL. That is great. Yep. They are good choices. I remember several weeks ago touting the yumminess of the Meyer lemon. Yeah, we have that here. We have both those here. Yeah. JJ says, I've tried cardoon and I kill it every time. Sometimes that happens. You know, dill is my plant that is just like, I planted a bunch of them 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? And that year nothing came up. And then last year one of them came up. Like, sorry, you're a little late. And then when we had all that rain and all that moisture, the seeds that were in the seed head sprouted, like on the ground. Like, it was on the ground. Like, here's the ground. It was on like this. And I was like so excited that they sprouted. But then they didn't actually go into anything, and then they dried up and crispified before I even thought about planting them elsewhere. So that's my plant that it's an herb that I love, and I have not been able to grow like enough to actually do anything with. So maybe eventually. Base Place says I'm a bad influence. LOL. No, trees are never a bad influence. Trees are a good thing. They give for a long time. Oh, Steve is saying Verna is a bad influence. Andy says, well, my goodness, both the girls are already asleep. That was fast. Yeah, that was fast. You wore them out, huh? Yeah. JJ says, I also can't make fried chicken after all these years. Hubby just laughs. So when I was little, for a while, my dad worked the night shift. He's retired now, but he was a machinist. And so he did a bunch of activities with us when we were during the day, and was responsible for dinner some nights and all that. And when my mom, I don't know where she was working or doing ballet, I'm not sure which. And so he was going to make chicken nuggets one time, and he had the chicken and all that, and the breading called for cornflakes. Well, he grabbed out of the cupboard Frosted Flakes. So we had sweet chicken nuggets. There you go. You can make substitutions, right? Base says just make oven fried chicken. Yeah. Best to make a shake and bake. I remember shake and bake. Is that still around? Have the paper bag and shake it. It says I have a green thumb like my mom. It dubia roaches, mealworms I can't keep alive. Roaches and mealworms for your dragons and for your quail. I don't know about the roaches for the quail, but I'm sure the dragons eat the roaches. That's okay. Green thumb is good. Lots of MSG there. Andy says, Katrina, do you have your tree in ground or pot? I am trying to learn how to grow in pots. Videos idea. I have my trees in the grounds, but I am also in Zone 9 plantings, USDA planting Zone 9B in California. So I do not recommend that you put those trees in pots where you are, because it's not going to have a fun time during winter. What I suggest you do is do like a half wine barrel size, and they make these little wheel things that go underneath them. That way you can wheel them in and out of someplace, or have them in your house or on your porch and wheel them in or something. But I would recommend like a half wine barrel, and for that, the only thing about containers that's different is that you're going to have to give it more nutrients. So you might have to give it more iron, because citrus tends to be low in iron sometimes, and so then you have to give them nutrients. I just use the iron that is used for lawns. If you go into like Ace Hardware or any hardware store, they'll have like a lawn section, and sometimes it's out in the garden area, sometimes it's not, but they'll have that. And don't pay for the little tiny one. I mean, you could actually, because they're only two, but it's like $10 for a little tiny thing like this big. But yeah. I would do a half wine barrel or a 3/4 wine barrel if you can get it. Yeah. JJ says, ooh, I didn't know that, Base Place. No wonder I get migraines. Oh, MSG. Could be. Andy says, oh, you guys jumped. Let's see. Oh, Vaseways looking up things for you. Oh, allergic to MSG? Yeah. JJ says frosted flake fried chicken. LOL, love it. Yeah, I think it might have been an accident. I don't know. I was little, so I don't know. Andy says, I'm thinking rabbit poop may not be the best for them. I don't know why it wouldn't be. For your citrus trees, I don't know why it wouldn't be, but I don't grow them in. I don't grow the citrus in pots, so I don't know how that would work. But I don't think it would be a bad thing. I mean, I wouldn't put them entirely in rabbit poop like you did tomatoes, but I don't think it would be a bad thing at all. To have some of that in there. Yeah. Baseplay says this is what a pot is. Katrina. What? I know what a pot is. Let me open link in new tab. Oh, you just Googled it. Or you just put it in YouTube? Okay. Yeah. So wine barrel or a big pot. Ed says, yes, they still have shake and bake. I love it on pork chops, and they make it for both chicken and pork. We did shake and bake chicken and potatoes. The potatoes ones I remember being very good. Which you could make up your own spice mix, right? I mean, you could do that. Vaseplay says one guy even has a coffee tree in his house he grows. Yeah, I had a curly leaf curry leaf tree in a wine barrel, and then of course the water got shut off, and that actually didn't do well. So I got new curry leaf trees that are only this big. So I'll be trying that again. And that did well for several years, going in and out of the screen and porch for winter, go in and then come back out. So I have grown that, and I've grown avocado tree in a like a 3/4 wine barrel. That also died with the heat that we had. So I don't know, protected from heat. Yeah. JJ says my mom used to make hot barbecue corn chips on chicken. Interesting. Baseplay says what you called the barrel is what we call pots. No, I'm talking about a wine barrel, like the wooden wine barrels, like wood that they actually make wine in. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like ceramic pots. I'm talking about wooden wine barrels. Yeah. Ed says when one large dubia roach costs $1 each, I need to not forget to water the breeding colony. Yep, I think so. S.S. Swanson says, you Yankees and your special words. Barrel's not a special word. It's a wine barrel. I don't think I've ever heard of anything as a wine pot. It's actually used for making wine. JJ's laughing. Verna says, any container you can grow in, we call pots. Okay, is that a Midwest thing? Oh boy, JJ, pop or soda? Soda, and I'll tell you why. Okay, Vase's Place says soda pop. I will tell you why soda. Okay, because it's called soda pop. If you're gonna abbreviate something, you're gonna abbreviate it for the first part, not the second part. The West Coast says soda. The East Coast says pop, right? That's kind of what it comes down to. But the word is soda pop. You wouldn't abbreviate something with the end of the word. You always abbreviate it with the beginning of the word. Plus, it's soda water, not pop water. I hope it's not pop water. There you go. There's my official ruling. I don't know if that counts for anybody. Ed Ed says, I will try growing in large grow bags. Ed, I think that would work if you didn't move the bag. And if she had a way to move the bag, like if it was on something that had wheels, I think that would work. But I don't know how well that would work otherwise. Yeah. JJ's still laughing along. Steve says, JJ, I'm down south. It's called Coke. No matter what kind. Oh boy. Andy Rabbit votes for soda. Andy Rabbit says, well, really for me, it's just Dr. Pepper. Moxie. All right. JJ's Appalachian Mountain Dew. Oh my gosh. Baseplay says, yuck, because I can't stand Coke. JJ says, I have an English babysitter, so we call it Pop. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not much of a soda drinker. If I drink soda, it's what, like root beer, one of the fruit ones, like Fanta or something, or Dr. Pepper's okay. I'm not a fan of the Pepsi Coke stuff, but I'm strange and I like to stir the bubbles out. I'm bubbly enough without the bubbles. That's my excuse. And I know that's weird, but I don't have it that often. It's good with pizza. Have to say that. Let's see. Vase Place has a good point about the growing container for Andy. It says water a bag and the water goes everywhere. This is true. So while that would work outside, it would not be great if you were bringing that inside. Good point. Ed says, LOL, Verna, you have to put a dish or whatever they are called under it. Baseball says, I had 2 sodas last year. There you go. JJ says, I will call that flat pop. But how does it pop? There's no bubbles to pop. They're already popped. Steve says, I had 2 today. Oh my gosh. Andy Rabbit says, Katrina, I shake most of the bubbles out of each bottle of soda. Hey, we're anti-bubble buddies. Yeah, I don't stir all of them out, but most of them. Yeah. Base Place says, Ed, it would not contain the water needed. Yeah, I don't think it would. For a tree, so for a tree in the ground, you want to water not as often, but deep. And for a tree in a pot, you want to water more often, but not as deep. Did I say that right? Deep, infrequent watering for in the ground, not deep, but frequent watering for in a container. Yeah. JJ's laughing away. Says she likes ginger beer or ginger pop. Oh, Vase Place made ginger syrup today. Awesome. I like ginger. Yeah. And Rabbit says, yeah, just about half the bubbles. How did we get to talking about soda? Well, how did this happen? Language, right? Oh boy. All right. So is anybody wanting to know anything about growing things that they're thinking about doing but haven't decided? Like maybe you're a little hesitant about trying something new. Let's try and help these people if you guys have any of those strange Yankee words. Yep. So is anybody iffy about growing something new? It's JJ fault. Andy. All right. Looks like we're coming to an end. We're getting silly here. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit to write something. Other than that, we're going to sign off. Vase Place says, I have to find the right place to put my grow lamp to benefit both plants and animals. Yep. You got some organization to do. JJ says, Every year I try to grow something new. This year, vine spinach. Is that Malabar spinach that you're talking about, or is there a different kind of spinach that I don't know? It's called vine spinach. Because it'd be interesting if you had vine. JJ's laughing at Andy. Oh boy. Yes, Malabar. Okay. Yeah, I grew Malabar spinach. The only thing I would warn you with that is that grow it in a place where you want it next year. I don't know how it works in areas with snow, but with areas without snow, like I planted it and then I was like, the next year I was like, oh, I'm going to plant it over here. Before I got to planting it, a whole bunch came up where it was before. So just be prepared for that. It would be easy to pull out if you didn't want it, but just be prepared for that for Malabar spinach. And it's mucilaginous. So fair warning there, which is good for you. There you go. Verna says that is why I have to call the cooey, Katrina. Make space. Yeah. Andy says my tree says on the tag they can stay in their original pots for 1-2 more years. So I got time to learn. Yep. JJ says I'm lazy gardening. We will eat it all. That's good. Amaranth. Yeah, I have a bunch of amaranth seeds that I have not grown. So yeah, let us know how that works. Need seeds? JJ's offering you seeds, Verna. Got them already. All right. Well, I think we're going to head out and I'm going to eat some dinner and need a seed exchange. Do that in your local areas for sure. Set it up for your local areas for sure. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Emery wheat berries. I think you might have to guerrilla garden if you're going to grow wheat, Verna. JJ says, good night. Good to see you all. Thank you for the company. Yes, thank you for all coming and showing up and having good discussions. And yeah, so reminder that I'll be on My Shires Live next Sunday, 7 p.m. and for the beginning. And see you then. And then we'll see you again next Monday. We always do this at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's Pacific time. And thank you guys for watching and listening and being involved and being awesome. Verna says we'll plant in the wood chips and have a blessed week. Yes, have a wonderful week, you guys. We'll see you on Sunday and again on Monday. Have a good evening.